Good morning, people. Type in chat if you can hear me. Well, that was a shitty first hour. Didn't really get anything. I didn't really want to. Wanted to end the week making back yesterday's red day, but I didn't even come close. I'm green by like a single green trade, so that's pretty lame. But yeah, it's looking bearish at the moment. I am bearish for this to break on NQ, except I'm trading MNQ. You could have got in on that last candle. The risk to reward's too bad though. Like it's not good at all. But I am bearish to here. That's a pretty easy PT. I'm also bearish now for ES to break back past 60.13. Um, that one's tricky though because NQ's on a pivot now. And I'm not really willing to take a continuation trade while NQ's sweeping this pivot. So if I'm going to enter that, it's going to have to do something like this at the minimum. I can see a potential head and shoulders here, so otherwise I'm not. You could just hop in here and take a stab at it, but that's just not high enough probability for me to take. But type in chat, how do you guys do this morning? The only reason I'm green is because I was heavy in calls here. Here. I was actually double leveraged, so I was actually if you took the alert, you're probably only barely green. I was green by like a trade and a half or so because of that. Red, green, red. All right, we have a good mix of red and green. I mean, it makes sense. You know, the first hour price action, it just kind of chopped. Now, chopped in a way that you were able to make money, but yeah, it's not, especially if you're trading mechanically and you put your PTs, you know, at high a day or low a day, you're just going to miss your PTs. Why were you double sized on that one? Confidence and swagging, that's just the way it ended up. Didn't necessarily mean to be double sized, but SPX flipped way stronger after. So I entered SPX with the plans of trimming both, and that's what I did. Enter SPX and scale out of KikiQ, and I end up trimming both very heavy right when SPES and NASDAQ made a higher high. That was the big PT there. Not the biggest PT. Big PT is still pre-market high, but it ended up working out. Now, if we go back up, I'm in there like underwear. Whichever stronger. Um, you know, and this is a trade that I don't need to wait for consolidation. It would have been a lot nicer if ES swept this low. That would have been a lot nicer. So because it didn't, I would wait longer to get into this trade. Probably wait until like up here. Because the even man, you can't really avoid it though, because even if it does put in the head and shoulders, it could do this. So it's a pretty bullish candle though, and NQ sweeping this pivot. I may have to hop in. It looks like ES is still stronger. Honestly, I kind of expect it to flip once it starts getting higher, but I mean, this is a big falling wedge on NQ. I'm bullish. I am bullish unless we break. I'm bullish overall, but if we invalidate this bounce, I'm bearish just for this low, but I'm not like bearish overall. It's pretty hard to be bearish when you have a chart that looks like this. I could wait one more green candle on ES. It's just under where I wanted to enter. I wanted that entire red candle to invalidate. Yeah, I'm gonna wait one more candle. You guys know my rule. I can only enter it in the last 10 seconds. Only because it's so possible that we put in some kind of shooting star and head back down, and that would delay my entry. But I'd love to be in right now, though. This is bullish. This is very bullish. And honestly, what is this pivot? I mean, this is the nearest pivot. This setup could bring us way past pre-market high. I have my eyes all the way up here. But we're kind of finishing with the selling wick though, so I'm not sure it's ready. I'm probably still going to enter here anyways though. It just kind of looks like it may want to pull back. We'll see how this candle closes. Oh, not closing right. I'm probably going to give it around a 1.5 restored. And it closed a shooting star. That's why I wait for the candle to close. And another big reason why I didn't enter the start of that candle when I wanted to is because NQ just got back in supply. So if it wanted to put in another reversal, it wouldn't be very hard to do. That is a beautiful trend line on ES though. I'm willing to enter this candle early if that selling wick invalidates. This is a nice looking candle. Follow that up. That's what happened before the short squeeze on NQ. It was this candle here. This candle was bearish, just like the one we just got. And then once it invalidated, it squeezed. And I'm thinking this squeeze could be bigger. I put my order in. It should have filled me. I don't know why it didn't fill me. Why didn't it fill me? I saw price action touch it. Am I getting scammed here? Folks, I may have just been scammed. I put in my order, price action touched it. Like I watched price action sit on top of my order and didn't fill me for some stupid reason. Okay, never mind, I'm in. That was spooky because NQ is I'm not, it could run here. It could. I'm still thinking we may pull back a little bit, maybe for like an inverse head and shoulders here. Bears try one more time to stop it from breaking out and then they get squeezed. And it also looks like last time NQ's flipping stronger. So NQ's a fine trade too. NQ, your PT would be like right here. It's a big PT, geez. Yeah, you make more money on NQ if that PT hits. But ES has been stronger, so. All right. Well, I'm going to be quiet for a bit because I got to fill out my journal. Still looks like NQ stronger. It's like a 4.5 out of 5 TA trade. This is a really nice T. The only way it would be 5 is if this low swept right here. Otherwise, this is a very nice setup. Very easy trade to take. Ew, ES is a lot weaker than NQ. NQ's way better long right now. What a scam. If you took NQ, you're looking way better. You're way closer to PT and your PT's further away. Unfortunate. But at the time of entry, its ES was still a little bit stronger, it looked like. So not much I can do about that. It's unfortunate. I was really hoping ES would be way strong, so I can also enter NQ afterwards on a pullback, but it's clearly not going to happen. Oh, my journal's filled out. The trend line's looking good, Swaggy, but ES is not. This is bullish consolidation on ES, but with how much weaker it is than NQ, I'm thinking NQ can easily pull back to here, which could mean trouble for ES. So the real question is, how is ES going to react to NQ's pullback? Because NQ clearly very high chance it pulls back here. Watching the SPX calls and they're kind of doing their chopping thing again, which is a red flag. It's been a red flag all day today. And it indicates an incoming drop. Oh yeah, they're chopping. Prepare for a drop. Which I kind of saw coming. I called it out because NQ looks like it's very likely to pull back. But it's interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how it pulls back. If it pulls back in the form of a right shoulder or it's just bearish. What's up, guy? NQ is stronger than ES, but ES is reacting less to the downside, which I do like. ES is trying to put in a nice little bull flag here. That's a nice candle on NQ. This candle opened bullish as well. I was expecting the right shoulder to be a bit bigger, but I guess this could, this could work. Because you know what? I may have spotted a gorgeous trend line that I forgot about. Not quite as gorgeous as I wanted it to be, but I can force it. Boom. You know, it'll be great, guys. And again, this is a huge bull pennant. You could put your PT up here. I mean, look at the size of this pennant. Look at the size of the run before. Very, very, very possible that it continues going. In fact, my PT is too close because it's stronger than NQ again. But regardless though, I'm not really willing to extend my PT out only because this pivot up here isn't like a perfect triple top or anything, and there's a lot of heavy supply in the way. And NQ is gonna have to break through all of this without sweeping. You can if you want, though. It's totally possible. I mean, the width of this pennant is here, and that puts the potential for this breakout here, all the way up here. But I think extending the PT drops the odds of the trade working out far too much. What I'd much rather do is let it go up if it goes up, and then get in after 2 oscillations. Maybe just 1, depending on how bullish it is, and then try for the pivot again after some kind of consolidation up here. because I want to see how it tests the supply. I'm gonna move my stop loss up just a little bit. Hurts the odds of the trade working out absolutely zero. Yeah, ES completely made back that strength that it did not have. That's awesome. That's awesome, Nemo. Don't get attached to your P&L, dude. Do not do that. Who cares if you're green or red? Did you follow your rules? Did you execute nice? That's all that matters. If the P&L matters to you, you're not gonna make any money. Should I get out? Nemo, you're saying all the wrong things here, buddy. You're saying all the wrong things. Hey, when was the last time you watched all the trading psych videos, Nemo? In the trading psychology channel. All right, now this is a perfect trend line on NQ. I was really hoping that ES would hit PT before it dips like this, because then I can potentially go long on NQ again here, which would be two great probability trades in a row. But I do not have that. Oh, he didn't answer me. Nemo, when was the last time you watched the trading psychology stuff? Watch that, buddy. You're gonna want to watch that. Don't keep me wrong. I'm not like shitting on you. You being green, awesome, dude. But we're here to not chase after green days. We're here to create a green career, and that's only done by mastering your mind. So when I hear someone that's like, okay, there's some red flags going on with their mind, boom, we know what to work on. We know what to improve before bad things happen. Yep, watch all of the trading psychology videos in the trading psychology channel first. They're on my YouTube, and everyone else that's watching this. All 7 parts of the Mark Douglas videos start in order. I think on my YouTube they're opposite order for some reason. I have no idea why. Watch all those. It is the most important resource there is to out there for traders. Like there is no better psychological course than that. There's no more impactful course than that. TA Psych, regardless, is the best possible thing that you can do as a trader. There's no mentorship, no course you can pay for, nothing that comes close to how impactful that is. Ask anyone in here. Yeah, man, dang it. And I really wanted ES to hit PT. It still couldn't. It still could come all the way back down. Knock on wood, of course. But I really wanted ES to hit PT before NQ pulls back, because then I can take an NQ trade. And my entry would be like, I'd want it to pull back to here, and then my entry would be something like this. And it would be like this. That would be my trade. Unfortunate. We are currently stuck in a range A bag. Looks like it wants to break out of it, but there's just a lot of sellers here. I do like these buying wicks that it's putting in. NQ's got lower lows with buying wicks, and ES is still stronger. Doesn't look bad, but I mean, this is a pivot. It usually this would be like a minor pivot, but it's acting as a major pivot because the lack of range today, the lack of continuation through pivots. This is a big pivot, so we will see. Regardless, this is a great trade. Like I put 4.5 out of TA trade. The only thing that would have made this a 5 is if it swept here. Now, if I were trading options, though, that's such a big issue today was the chop. Looks like contracts are back to being decent. So I would have entered, my average would have been 2.75. They're only at 3.2. They're not much. And on this last red candle, they dipped into the red. So like they're so choppy, which is a red flag. Looks like NQ's trying to drag ES down. That's not good. Starting to look like a very nice inverse head and shoulders, but I'm not liking this chopping up. This pennant's taking way too long on ES. It's invalidated this entire big green candle here. I don't want it to last much longer. That's looking good on a NASDAQ. See, if ES hit PT, I would be wanting to enter NQ longs here. If this candle closed like this, totally. It didn't really get a bunch of, but it did do exactly what I wanted it to do. It swept this low, the 1038 Eastern low, and it's not closing the way I needed to, so I'd have to wait another candle. Or the start of this next candle, if it validates the wick, I can. But this is what I wanted to do. Something like that. Good risk to award too. 1.5. Looks like ES is trying to flip weak, which is a big problem. I'm going to hang out on my phone until one of my orders hits or gets closer to hitting. This is taking too long. That is true, Neem. The indicator is working good now, knock on wood. This would be, I'd have to enter early into this candle on my NQ longs if I took them. Still have a small amount of hope that NQ could come up to my trend line, which would get ES to my PT, and then it rejects again. That would be like 2 flawless trades in a row. Very unlikely, though. Very unlikely. And ES also has flipped weak, which makes sense. NQ swept buy side liquidity, ES didn't, so. But that's the inverse head and shoulders that I called out that I predicted it would form on NQ. The right shoulder is the perfect size too. That looks good. And there's the break of that inverse head and shoulders. It's almost like we know how to read a chart, huh? All the SMC pattern hater weirdos swear that stuff doesn't work. The pattern haters are so annoying. They are truly annoying. All right, let me document this. 60, 35. Does work. It does. Yeah. I mean, okay, patterns have been around for decades and decades. It's not like someone just came up with them. Like they've been around for many, many, many decades. Like probably the last I don't know because their computers are only fairly recent, so they've been analyzed for at least a couple of decades, maybe like 3. What should I make on that? Type in chat if you guys made money on that trade. That was a good one. That was a very good one. Will I have another trade though? I'm not sure. NQ's giving me hope though. It did just reject. The problem is if I want to re-enter NQ, it's going to be a problem because it's kind of weak now, but it did miss this high. I want both of these blue lines to clear on the NASDAQ. I'm really hoping it can pull back. But, you know, if ES is still a lot weaker than NQ, then I might just have to enter ES instead up here for this pivot, which I don't want to do because I feel like ES is going to flip weak. But like I said, that's a big pennant breakout. You could extend your PT if you want to. It hurts the odds way too much. Usually I extend the PT if, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt the odds much at all. That you're more than doubling the PT distance through supply. It just hurts the odds way too much for me. But I can see it happening. Nice job, Stonky. Yeah, how did you get free evals? You special or something? Does anyone in here trade SMC? Bara, we all trade SMC. Just the TikTok gurus like to put a label on it. Supply and demand, liquidity, all that stuff is technically SMC. But the term smart money concepts is so freaking stupid to me. I just think it's stupid. But yeah, we all trade SMC. Every time you draw a pivot, anytime you use supply and demand, that's technically falls under that umbrella. Really anything is SMC if you think about it. Like, a lot of people wouldn't consider patterns to be SMC because they think that they're better than other people and patterns are dumb, like what dumb people use to trade. But SMC in general, smart money concepts, is you just taking into account, okay, what are the institutions doing? What are the people that can actually move the market do? So if I look at a falling wedge, I'm like, oh, that's a falling wedge, it should go up. That's not SMC. But if I look at the falling wedge and I view price action from a liquidity standpoint as far as why that falling wedge is there and what the candles indicate smart money is going to do, then technically, yeah, it could be SMC. It's just you taking into account essentially institutional, whatever, institutional movement. The problem with SMC is you think you know what's going to happen because you think you can figure out the motives of other people. And that would have Mark Douglas rolling in his grave. That's the big issue. Now, SMC works, but most SMC traders will never see, most traders in general will never see profits because their SMC's hyper focused on figuring out the motives. Why would an institution go long? Oh, it's to fill a gap. Or why would the market drop? Oh, it's to chase liquidity or no, it's because, like Mark Douglas said, floor traders went out to lunch and their buy orders stopped going through because they went out to lunch and now they're back and went back up, So when you try to find out why something happens, you're entering a deep dark hole. It doesn't even matter. You don't even need to know why it happens. It's pointless. You never know if you're right. As Mark Douglas says, the trade I just entered and played, I entered because I had a hypothesis based on price action, but I have no idea if that's the reason why I entered. Very rarely is the reason you entered the reason why it went up. So like he says, you never know if you're right? So in essence, you never know if you're wrong. So the fear of being wrong is thus invalidated because you can't control the market. As retail traders, when we enter, we are 100% reliable on what other traders do after I enter. And it's impossible to know the motives of other traders across the world and why they're putting in their orders. It's impossible. There's no system that can predict that. So it's completely unpredictable. There's never a way to know what's going to happen. It's just a casino strategy is all it is. Just figure out an edge that has a decent probability based on statistical reliability, and you just execute it, and that's it. That's all trading is. You're just a casino. Yeah, it doesn't look like NQ's going to pull back. It looks like it could. I don't think so. I think it's going to sweep before it could potentially go down. Because you guys can see this potential rising wedge here. The question is, am I going to enter short if it breaks to the downside? I don't think I want to. Because that goes against my bias. But here's the rising wedge that you guys can see. I know I have a lot of trend lines up on my chart, but if this rising wedge breaks to the downside, I'm not going to play it for bearish. I would rather use it as a bullish dip by opportunity, personally. There's too many lower highs. Yeah, the supply and demand indicator you see on my chart. Aurora zones, that indicator. I mean, we got supply and demand wasn't really big today on the indices, on NQ and ES, but I mean, it rejected this heavier supply here and bounced out of this 30-minute, 45-minute demand twice, so it was still all right. I'm not really expecting this rising wedge to play out. I'm actually not even going to keep it on my chart. It's way too cluttered. Get rid of all this. And I can work with that. Does anyone else trade on plus 500? I do not. I don't know what that even is. I use SMC, but I don't use patterns. Yeah, everyone and their mother uses this. SMC is not a special thing. Everyone uses SMC. But you don't have to use patterns. It doesn't matter. It truly doesn't matter what you use. If the stats are in your favor, that's it. Like, too many people get in the strategy pissing contest. Whose strategy is better than whose, and whose has better stats, and whose is more intricate and complicated. It's stupid. You're just gonna lose money that way, thinking like that. Doesn't matter what your strategy is. You can just trade basic trend lines, and you can be a profitable trader. It's all just a mind game. How willing are you to do things you don't want to do? That's all trading is. Well, NQ looks great to break. Unfortunately, I couldn't get in on this one. But that's okay. Yeah, Eclipse. I mean, think about it like this. With that, there's a NQ break. Take profits on your NQ if you want to, or if you're in. Non-financial advice, of course. Eclipse, if you feel like if you continue, let me ask you, Eclipse, if you continue trading, you're like, you know what, I feel like I should lock it in, but I'm gonna go for more gains. How would you feel if your next trade gave back all those gains? If you wouldn't care, then go ahead and continue trading. But if you know you'd care and you would not be happy with that, yeah, I'd stop trading. Well, NQ is going for my PT, my nearest pivot, and it is a big pivot. But I am I'm not really willing to enter unless I get a pullback or a flag or something. It really sucks. I got close to being able to enter that NQ trade after that ES1. I feel like I'd want at least to try to get it back if I lost it. Well, then, there you go. That's your answer, Eclipse. That's your answer. And if you keep feeling that way, you keep stop trading. And then what you do, here's what you do. So you stop trading, even though, from a probability standpoint, you shouldn't stop trading. Why would you? If the odds are in your favor, you don't stop trading. But you have to, because we're humans and you have emotions, and you're going to become attached to your outcomes, which is going to skew the law of probabilities out of your favor. So what you do is you stop trading because you know you'll be attached to your outcomes if you lose. But do not get in the habit of that, because when you do that, you're going to start leaving on one green trade. How many times have you guys done this? You fell into a trap where you feel like leaving after just one green trade or just a small green, days on end. You have like 7 green days in a row. First red day comes, wipes out everything. Because you're so used to leaving the market only when you get the results you want. You are controlling your results. And when you purposefully leave to lock in price, you are training yourself to only be comfortable leaving when you're happy with your outcomes. So when you get your first red day and you're not happy with the outcomes, you've trained yourself to not leave, because every time you won, it reinforced the way you're thinking. So what you have to do to counteract that, and you have to do it or you're going to be screwed, you have to today open up your journal and document what would have happened if you kept trading. In a flawless state of mind, what would have happened? And what you're going to find over the course, and keep doing this over the course of weeks and stuff, only do it on days where you decide to leave early, which you shouldn't. You should be trying to not leave early, because you only grow your muscles by exercising them, right? So you need to try to not leave early. But anytime you do, and don't be happy with yourself for doing it, document what would have happened if you continued trading with perfect psychology. And most of the time you'll find that, sure, there's some days where you missed out on being red, great, but more days than not, you're going to miss. If your edge is above a 50% win rate and a 1-to-1 risk to reward, statistically speaking, you're going to miss out on more gains than loss. And what that's going to do, that's going to unreinforce the bad psych that you're reinforcing by leaving early, and slowly your desire to continue trading regardless of your P&L will grow, because your journal and your data collecting reinforces that. So that's how you counteract that, and you need to do it, or else you're gonna fall into the trap where you're used to controlling your results. This is starting to look like a potential entry, but kind of the way it's going up, guys, I'm not going to enter unless it gets a couple oscillations. You know, if it gets a green candle right now, technically you could enter. I'm not confident enough in this trend to do that. I'm going to want a bigger dip. Even if it does do something like this, I don't know if I want to enter. I may anyways, but I'd want something like that. That's what I want. It's a nice PT on NQ, though, if you use that price target to take profits if you're in NQ. I feel like most of you guys were not. It's deep. Nimal says that's deep. Trading is a very deep endeavor. It's very deep. In order to become a profitable trader, you literally have to become a different human being. Like, you have to completely, radically alter your core personality in order to be a good trader. Like, you're going to change into a completely different person. That's why many people call trading like the greatest vehicle of self-growth, because it changes you so radically. So I could enter ES longs here. I'm not going to. Or if this candle closed green and invalidated that whole red candle, I could. I'm not going to. NQ doesn't look like it wants to go up enough, and I'm going to wait for multiple oscillations. I could end up giving back all my gains if I do end up entering, but that's okay. As long as the trades are good. See, Bree, and that's interesting. So Bree says, when I leave early, I would have made more money most of the time. Okay, I thought you said the opposite, actually. I thought you said when I leave early, I did make more money than if I stayed. But you said on red days, I do take all my trades. Wait, when I leave early, I would have made more money if you stayed, or you made more money from leaving early? If you stay, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Yep. On red days, you do take more trades, yeah. So a good exercise, Bree, is I don't think it's going to affect your P&L too much, because I judge it by, okay, did I take 6 trades? No. How long have I been trading? 2 hours max? Okay. Lately, I've been trading less because I'm doing the back testing and stuff. Only about an hour. Looks like NQ is flipping stronger than ES, but I'm still not going to enter. A good exercise would just do things that you're uncomfortable with. So if you're red, and you really don't want to leave, I think that's a good indicator to leave, because not only would you hate doing it, and you'll start becoming ready to accept results that you don't like. So that's training that. You're accepting results that you don't like. You're training that skill, that muscle. If you also journal at the same time, what would have happened, and you find out you would have been more green statistically, there's a good chance you're going to be able to eventually trade for a longer period of time and continue to not care about your results regardless if you're red or green. But the reality is, if you're red and you have a big desire to continue trading, that's because you care about your results. So you got to figure out ways to reinforce your psyche to where you don't care about your results. The only thing you care about is things that are not P&L related. So execution, strategy, and psych, that is it. And everything else, all of your results is nothing more than data that could be used to collect pay bills. That's it. So it's just data. That's, guys, that's kind of a nice long entry on ES. You could take it if you want. I already committed to waiting for 2 oscillations, but that is unfortunate because that's a very nice green candle. It did pop up right after I wanted to take it. Here's what the trade would have been. Would have been that and then that. It would have had to been this, unless I want to put my PT really far, my stop loss far. So it'd have to be this. So let's keep this to the side to see if I made a good decision. Regardless, this type of setup I'm specifically documenting because the 1 oscillations in an uptrend in supply typically have not had a good win rate. It's been about 50-50, which I don't want to take 50-50 trades. So I'm going to move this to the side and see what would have happened. That's a crazy risk reward, 2.0. That's hard for me to believe. It's unlikely to stop out. Exactly what I'm working on. Yep, that's all it is, dude. That is all it is. There's a lot of things I'm working on, guys. My schedule's so freaking packed. Like, I still got to finish DMing everyone about the mentorship progress. I got to upload a bunch of videos to YouTube. Like, here's my day. I go to bed at like 10-ish. I wake up at 5:45, do the study session with you guys at 6. After that study session, if I have time, I do my devotional, boom, right into trading, trade options, alert, all that stuff. Hop into futures. However long I take here, that's how long I take. ES is very strong. It looks pretty bullish. That looks like it's just going to get right there. And then after futures trading, I answer some DMs. I have a small break. Then after about an hour and a half, boom, I'm right into my back testing. And then right after the back testing, I have a trade review. And right after the trade review, I have a lesson. And then I have about an hour and a half break. Not even. I have like a 40, if I do like a full hour psych lesson, I have a 45-minute break. Boom, I have to go and train. So I have to leave at like 4:30 my time. I don't come back until like 7:45, and I have to squeeze an hour of gym in there somewhere in the day, which I haven't worked out yet. And then I have like an hour before I go to bed. Like, my schedule is it's very difficult for me to find time for the maintenance side of things, the YouTube uploading and that stuff. So we'll see. You said you train. I am starting to, Bree. I'm starting to, yes. Wait till you get married. Yep. Yep, that'll be happening soon. For train conductor, that's exactly what it is, Kazumu. That's exactly what it is. Because you know what? Trading is great, but it's I'd rather be a train conductor. Boxing swag, yeah, just MMA swaggy. I have grappling for an hour, then striking for an hour. It's about 30-minute drive. So it's like 45 minutes of driving. 50 minutes ish. You can use some interns. I could create except I don't trust people. Exactly, Brie. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Austin, the guy who was screwing up the indicator, the crazy lunatic that's trying to, like, he's just freaking crazy, dude. Like, he's genuinely a crazy person. Um, I guess that's my only op, and he's only like 100 pounds, full grown male, like maybe 100 pounds. He's very skinny. Happy birthday, Bara. How old are you turning? Or how old are you now? I literally kept him out. He stole a felony amount of money to me. I could have sent his ass to jail. I'm just way too nice. I'm legitimately way too nice of a person. I turned 19. Awesome, dude. Guys, I think ES might just chop its way up to my PT. I hope that's not the case though. But if it is, it's fine because you know what? It wasn't a high it was okay, it was acceptable to get in, but it wasn't a very high probability trade to get in there. So my birthday too. Happy birthday, Necro. You need good people in the team. Yeah, that is true, Krita, but here's the thing, like I'm much more of a trader than I'm a business person. You know, I could grow my server massively if I wanted to. I can take my supercars and hop on TikTok and blow up and make 7 figures a month within a year. With the people I know within a year I could do that, but it's just not my personality. I can't be bothered. I'm too obsessed with trading to be like doing other things. I have too many goals with trading at the moment. Papa Reem just turned 42 yesterday. Awesome. You have supercars? I do happen to have those, Nemo. Not a good financial decision. Very expensive, but they're entertaining. And you know, at my age, I don't have as many responsibilities, so I'm able to enjoy them much more than people who can afford them that are a lot older, so. And that's another thing, Swaggy. That's another thing. So when I do start doing social media, it's gonna be a very niche thing. Like a very niche, like uh not flexing numbers, not flexing materialistic things. The way I'm going to do things is not going to attract the average person scrolling TikTok. It's only going to attract the people that are like genuinely like this is what they love, this is what they want to learn, that's it. There's not going to be like a big hook on my videos to there's not going to do that. I've done that before and it's whatever. All right, let's see this hypothetical trade stop out. That's what I want to see. Let me write this down. What about being TikTok banned in the US? I think that is a great thing. TikTok is like, I wouldn't say it's ruined my life, but it's felt like it's ruined my life. I don't have the app anymore, but shit like that ruins your life. Like, genuinely ruin. It is the most devastating thing in America. I think there is nothing more devastating than TikTok. Porn's up there too. Porn's definitely up there too, but TikTok I think is the most devastating thing that has happened to America. Like genuinely for the younger generations. Everyone's freaking stupid now. No one has a good attention span. The productivity of everyone is extremely low. Um, it's awful. It's awful for this country. Now Biden's not enforcing the TikTok ban. It's going to be Trump. Unfortunately, and keep in mind, like, yeah, it is entertaining. You know, Trump is in support of TikTok. I mean, it helped him get elected, but like, it's freaking terrible. Highly recommend you guys delete that shit. You cannot be a good trader and be addicted to TikTok. Like, I just don't like. You can sit on you spend 8 hours a day, easily 6 to 8, and you wonder how that seems unrealistic. But then you check your phone and you're like, oh yeah, I do average 7 hours a day on that damn app. It's like, imagine the things you can get done with that amount of time every single day. And not only that, it's actively damaging for your brain. It's it's so dopamine inducing that, and I've experienced this firsthand, it's so dopamine inducing that it devastates your attention span. And It's gonna be you can't even watch TV anymore without also scrolling TikTok. You're not gonna want to drive long drives without scrolling TikTok. Um, it's awful for your brain. Similar to porn, you get a lot of dopamine. It slowly fries your receptors, and then you need more and more to feel the same happy. And then when you don't scroll TikTok or do something with that feeds your short attention span, you start feeling not very happy. You just don't feel happy. It's not like you're having withdrawals like drug withdrawals or anything. You're just not very happy. You don't find as much joy in you don't find joy in organizing your room, or you don't find joy in reading the Bible or something. It's just so destructive. It's terrible. Fully in favor of that shit getting out of the US. The problem is I'm a very constitutional person, so I would love for it to go away. If it's able to, that's great, but if it's technically not breaking any laws, then it should be allowed to be here. Um, but yeah, I freaking hate that. I hate that app. It's not your free speech, Nemo, because it's a Chinese. It's there. The premise behind deleting it is China. That's the reason. So if they sold to a U.S. company, TikTok would stay, but they don't want to do that. So yeah, ES is so much stronger, guys. It's chopping up, but it is so much stronger than ES. I'm watching this like slowly just kind of get to my pivot. If you're in this trade, it's looking pretty decent. I don't like how it's chopping up, but because chopping up's typically bearish, but the way it's moving in comparison to NQ, it can totally get there. The thing that's getting me with NQ is I feel like it wants to get to this low. But it's getting a buying wick like this. I don't know which is going to happen. I do think it'll be a good reversal trade to take if it can sweep this pivot and NQ still weaker. I would be open to an NQ short if that happens. So I have some options. Instagram is no better than TikTok. That is correct. That is correct. It's all atrocious. It's all so bad. That's why I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Literally, it was so bad that for me, that's why I'm training now. Just to take me out of the house and do something different. Because it is so easy to just become an extremely lazy person with the demon phones, your cell phone. So that's why I'm spending so much time each day working and then training. It's to grow my attention span back because it'll naturally heal. And that's what I'm doing. I'm naturally healing my dopamine receptors by not being on that. So I have a limit. I literally have a limit on my phone. I can't go over if I wanted to. For Instagram, it's 30 minutes a day, max. And then it shuts off. Like the app shuts off. I can't even do it. I don't even know the password for it. Um, so if you're going to become a profitable trader, you need to delete that app. And I'll be honest, when I first became like I was addicted to TikTok maybe early 2020, uh the time that I first flipped profitable trading and made the greatest progress in my trading career up until that point, I had TikTok uninstalled for 6 months. So, maybe it's a coincidence, but that was a big thing for me too. I didn't play any video games for 6 months straight, and I didn't have TikTok for 6 months. So naturally, it was much easier for me to spend a lot more time studying charts because my dopamine receptors weren't fried anymore. I know a lot of people that are super successful, but they essentially live off Adderall because they can't focus. So they take a ton of Adderall to every single day. They're on Adderall. Not like a super ton, like not a massive amount, but they don't go more than a week without taking Adderall multiple times during that week because they literally need it to work. And they think it's okay, but we'll see where they're at in 30 years. TikTok breaking any law. Marty, so the whole thing with TikTok is it's a risk to the US. because it's a Chinese controlled app and they collect US data, and it's a national security issue. TikTok's allowed to stay if they sell to a US company. That was the rule. If they don't, then it's out. And they don't want to do that. So as far as right now, it's out on Saturday or Sunday. It's out this weekend. Erica, it was difficult for the first month or so. It became so easy after. Like you're not hardwired to need video games or social media or anything. It becomes easy to do because naturally, it's not like you're doing it. Well, it looks like I'm gonna miss out on longs. It's kind of looking like it's gonna get there. It was a good call out though. My bias was correct. So it doesn't bother me too much that I missed out on it. It bothered me more that it bothers me way less from me missing out on the trade than it would if I entered the trade and just stopped out. It's a nice candle open. It looks like it's getting there. Not a single major pullback in supply after all this chop. That's crazy. And this is also why it was easy for me to. We're so far above this collar here for this cup and handle thing. It was pretty easy for me to not be in. Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna. I'm so for the TikTok. It is fantastic for our lives. There is no risk, please. TikTok is not. That has nothing to do with anything, Alejandro. What's on TikTok is not the point. The point is China owns TikTok and they collect data from all US users. It's a huge national security issue. Another huge issue, you guys notice on TikTok how they had to add the STEM app? Here's the big issue with it is like it's genuinely like I'm totally for, of course I'm for getting rid of TikTok because how bad it is for people, right? You can defend it all you want, but it's terrible for you. Your life would be better without TikTok. Um, sure, you wouldn't know as much about things happening in the Middle East, but why the hell does it matter to you? You're not going to do anything about it. It's not your problem. But genuinely, and there was I read something about it about a year and a half ago. So China owns the algorithm to TikTok, right? Well, they can control what's on your page. So I saw some article about it. I forgot what it was, but Chinese in China on TikTok, the biggest thing you'll see on your For You page is like STEM things, engineering things, things that actually make you smarter. What do you see on TikTok if you're a man in the US? You see a bunch of naked women everywhere. And other things that do not make you a stronger, better, smarter human being at all. So China has the ability to control what you're seeing, and if they can get 90% of the male population in the US addicted to porn through TikTok, they're going to pass us up as a country. Because then all of a sudden, we're a way less productive country. 20 years from now, no one wants to do anything. It's devastating. It's a attack from within. Anyways, there's the ESPT. Couldn't get in on it. Document that real quick. But that's a huge national security issue. China owns the algorithm. They can control what's on our For You page. Go and try to search something on TikTok. Search up water on TikTok and try to not see like a naked woman there. No, it's literally it's a weapon. And it's truly demonic. It really is demonic. It's spiritual warfare, It's sending everyone to hell is what it is doing. Um But no, it's yeah, it's very destructive, very dangerous. People don't really think about that, but it's one of the very big reasons why it's getting banned. It's because they can control what our youth is seeing and control what they're interested in, and it's not good, not good at all. So that worked out. I guess I can enter a small reversal trade. We did get a volume spike in supply. I don't have a candle big enough or red enough to do it. Yeah, it's unfortunate I missed out on this trade, but I couldn't enter. Wasn't willing to. The odds weren't high enough. It is what it is. And I did document it as well. So the next PT is NQ to this high. That's far away though. It does not look like it's sweeping bearishly. We'll see. If it gets to this supply, maybe. I mean, I'm now NQ's close enough to where I'm willing to enter if it flags. Because if it's an uptrend and it puts in bullish consolidation, I'm confirmed in. This to me wasn't bullish consolidation. This was a bare minimum entry. So even though it's way up higher, I'm still confirmed in if it puts in, solid bullish consolidation. What I'm also looking at now though is a potential reversal trade, and the PT could be all the way to the 38.6. If I enter somewhere down here, it's a fairly far PT though, with a crazy risk to award. But that's something that I'm willing to enter. Yeah, Alejandro, and that's the problem. China has the ability to control what content we consume in the U.S. That's a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem. It makes sense from a genuinely from a national security issue. It makes sense why it's banned. It's getting banned. There is plenty of value in TikTok if you spend. TikTok is a great opportunity. It is. It really is. So that's the unfortunate part. A lot of people make money off TikTok and stuff. Um, but the man, I'm gonna have to. I may have to enter that reversal trade I was talking about. Yeah, I'm totally confirmed in. Well, doesn't have the greatest odds, but yeah, I'm in there. See what happens, I guess. The reason I don't really want to get in is because to me it doesn't look like NQ's bearish. It looks like NQ's gonna keep going up. But I'll give it a shot because I said I would, and I'm confirmed in. So yeah, we'll see. See, it kind of looks like NQ's putting in bullish consolidation. It depends on your age and your gender. Used to be anti-TikTok. PA moving slow. I wouldn't say PA's moving slower. It's moving kind of slow, but it's moving. PA's moving. First hour sucked. It didn't move much. It just compressed. But I did. I mean, I called it out. Did I not say in my channel? The second hour looks like it's going to be the hour where we see movement today, and it happened. That's a bullish morning star on ES. So I'm kind of expecting to stop out now. We'll see if it plays out. But that is a bullish morning star setup. You got the big red candle. You got the doji. You got the bullish candle open on this candle. Fan fans in it. It's just bad. It's just bad. It's just not good. I totally understand why TikTok's being banned. I mean, I would do the same thing. A lot of people would hate me though, but Morningstar played out. It's almost like I just called that. Now that is the well, it closed with kind of a bit. It's not a nice Morningstar. So the Morningstar pattern. Here's the point of the pattern, right? You got the red candle here. That's a look how beautiful my drawing is. Oh, I accidentally deleted it. There you go. Boom. Red, right? And then you have the star. It's a morning doji star is actually what it is. And now whenever I see this, I'm like, okay, watch for a potential morning star to form. A lot of times you'll have the green candle after. Well, this is the actual pattern here. This is the completion of the morning star. And statistically speaking, it signals a potential uptrend starting, a reversal pattern, right? Well, I knew it was likely to form. It formed. However, it didn't get this big green candle afterwards, which hurts the statistical likelihood of it continuing. But now we have a greater issue afoot. ES is stronger than NQ now. It's not looking good for this reversal trade. But a lot of times reversal trades don't look very good until they actually move the way you want it. But here's my plan. If we hit the 23.6, I'm moving my stop loss to break even. You know what? I'm happy with this trade. That's a damn good entry. Regardless of what happens, that's a damn good entry. That was good. If it gets to the 23.6, I'm going to move my stop loss to break even and let it ride to the 38.2. Oh, that might happen. I didn't touch it yet. It didn't quite touch it yet. One more tick lower. Stop loss is going to break even, which means if it puts in a buying wick, it's probably going to stop out. It's kind of a bearish candle open. It is. There it is. Stop loss at break even. Cool. We got a free trade. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. You could take profits if you want to. I already said my PT is 38.2, so that is a great trade. Even if it stops out at break even, I'm very happy. But that is a huge buying wick, so now I think I'm going to stop out at break even. I was looking for it to no longer be a strong uptrend, right? As long as it holds to 23.6, it is still a strong uptrend. It's still an uptrend unless it breaks a 38.2. So I was thinking, okay, well, I think it's decently likely to pull back to the 38.2. Now I would have entered Kiki Nasdaq short, which now would have been better, but it was stronger at the time. I mean, this red candle was a lot smaller than ES. You know, it's whatever. But anyways, NQ has all these higher lows that I want it to take out, which would be near the 38.2 on ES. But the problem is ES flips stronger, so now it's kind of yeah, I'm looking for the 38.2 across the board. I think this area of liquidity is a nice place to go and test. Swaggy, no. It's like a thank you for reminding me, Swaggy. I didn't even document this trade. Give me a second. No. It's probably a 3 max. It's not a very good TA trade. Like a 3. I think it's like a 3. It's acceptable. Ew, these buying wicks are ruining it. These buying wicks are ruining it. I might have a nice line here. Way too big. Looks good for a potential squeeze here, but this is now a perfect trend line on NQ, so we'll see. My stop loss still at break even. I may stop out at break even. We got 2 big buying wicks in a row that looks like could squeeze back to the upside. But as a trader, you need to protect your dopamine. You do. you're not going to be willing to journal, do the back testing and stuff if your dopamine's right. I'm speaking from experience. Like, that's why I kind of talked about that topic. It's a big issue. That is a very bullish candle. I'm expecting to stop at a break even. It was a great attempt, though. Unless this candle closes with a buying wick in the last 6 seconds, which it doesn't look like it wants to do, NQ looks like it wants to go up. Yeah, it's a bullish candle open too on the NASDAQ. It was a very good attempt. Very good trade. Very happy with it. NQ is trying to squeeze. It's a big area for NQ though. If it can, because what is this, like the 61.8? Almost. So 61.8 is going to be a big area for NQ to see if it's going to turn around or not. It's another bullish candle open. It's trying to do it. That is unfortunate if it does go all the way. I'm thinking it's probably going to. It's just too close to my stop loss now. You know, it's so much closer to stop loss than PT, so you got to be realistic. But that's a perfect trend line on NQ. It missed a lower low. For me, it's unlikely that it holds a bounce. And the problem is, it's probably going to perfectly sweep my... It could perfectly sweep my stop loss and come back down. I got to have it at break even, though, because now I'm bullish for it for new high of day again. Gosh, I'm sick of this stupid green. Get out of here. But I'm still bearish for this trend line to break on NQ. I'm still bearish for it to get right here. Now I just don't know when it's going to do it. I don't know if it's going to do this. I'm thinking I might want to put in another oscillation, then try again to come down. I'm willing to try again on shorts here on it. So my entry looks something like something like this. Will be a much smaller trade, but oh well. That's what I'm looking at. Is this? No, it is not. Flex. I mean, the stop loss kind of is. You know what? I'm thinking we might not even get another oscillation on NQ. I think it might go right back to not high of day, but this high. Because that was a bearish candle that had just easily invalidated at the start of this candle. Looks good for a short squeeze. I mean, I called it out. This candle was super bullish. Not selling there, though. It wasn't at my PT. But you got two massive buying wicks in a row. Let's see, what I'm hoping for is if it stops me out, which is 90% chance it's going to, that it continues to high of day. That would be nice. Because that means the break-even stop loss, flawless trade. But the reason also Swaggy was a 3 out of 5 TA, because I did get a volume spike. We were in supply, but I didn't get a bearish candlestick pattern. I didn't really get a major selling wick. It didn't happen on a pivot. It happened well above a pivot. So it's like a 3. Plus the risk to award. I kind of rate the TA as the probability of the setup. So it's a fairly low probability setup. Because let me disable stream mode. Good question. He asked, why not take a few tick profit if you're 90% sure you're going to get stopped out? Because that is far more dangerous than stopping out from a psychological standpoint. Ew, ES is weak again. I mean, sorry, ES is strong again. Far more dangerous. That is very dangerous. Because now my stop loss is where my hypothesis is invalidated. Okay. If I am selling before my hypothesis is invalidated just to try to force a good result, what am I training myself to do? I'm training myself to only be okay with outcomes that I want. Only accept good outcomes. On top of that, what happens to your psyche if I sell for a very tiny profit and it starts plummeting back down again? What will that do to my psyche? For most people, they'd re-enter in an emotional state of mind because you shouldn't have done that and you regret doing that. And you re-enter, and if you win, you reinforce bad psych. And if you lose, what do you think you would do if I sold right now for a very small win? It dumped, I re-entered out of distress because I made a wrong decision, and it stopped me out right after. How bad would your psych be then? That is one move away from all of a sudden your psych going to hell and you potentially blowing your account. It's not worth it. Unfortunately, ES is it's a lot stronger than NQ. Still 90% chance it stops out, in my opinion. NQ's trying to pull it down, but it's not looking like it's doing a good job. This is like a little bull flag here on ES. This is a perfect double bottom, though. What I'm willing to do is if I get stopped out and we do something like this, I'm willing to take NQ short. Give NQ shorts one more chance. Or maybe not. I don't know because NQ could still be a cup and handle. ES is so bullish, actually. This is starting to look like a long trade for new high of day. Look how much stronger it is than NQ. NQ is probably going to bounce. It's getting in 2 buying wicks. I'm thinking ES looks good for new high of day. It is so much stronger than NQ. That is so unfortunate. If only I entered NQ. If I entered NQ, I wouldn't... What? My entry would be here. My stop loss would... But then again, it got really close to the stop loss there. And now ES is getting close, but... Yeah, that's a big difference. That is a very big difference there. NQ is doing a lot better. And the PT is a lot further away as well. It's just NQ was stronger at the time of entry. I had no choice. All right, well, I'm still bearish for this trend line to break on NQ. Problem is, like I said, ES is way strong now. So even if NQ breaks that trend line, ES is not going to be close enough to my PT to be even mildly confident in it hitting. Now, Missy, just think. Even though I'm still thinking it's going to stop out, how do you think you would be feeling or I would be feeling if I sold right here watching it go back down? I'd start being stressed out. And now I'd start hoping that it comes back up, that I made the right decision, right? It's just not worth it, you know? Don't get used to controlling your outcomes. There's too much that can go wrong. ES being so strong really does pain my soul, though. Because now the problem is it's going to stop me out, and NQ's still going to look bearish. It is painful. In fact, if I wasn't in this trade, I wouldn't really be willing to enter ES longs, but it's looking pretty likely. Now with this candle, that candle's bullish enough to where I could sell. I'm not going to. I already decided I'm not going to, but if I sold for a tiny profit here, it would make sense. That's very bullish there. Yeah, you can trade subjectively, Missy. Man, I got so unlucky. ES is so much stronger. NQ's been going down. If ES was weaker than NQ, it would have hit my PT. Or would have been close right now. So unlucky. Was a great trade, though. Was a great trade. A free trade as well. So I'm just hoping ES goes to new high of day. Because then that means my stop loss, my break-even stop loss did its job. Man, NQ is so bearish. And it looks like it just perfectly swept it. This may end up turning into an ES long trade. Because I am so bearish on NQ. That is the amount of unlucky that is just so unlikely to happen. That's so freaking unlucky. Look how unlucky that is. Hoping NQ sweeps and goes back up, then I can enter an ES long for new high day. That'd be a pretty damn good trade. But now I'm back to wanting ES to sweep at least this blue line right here. I mean, if NQ sweeps enough, it's still kind of a cup and handle. It could still be a pretty good long. But the problem is your PT would be so far away. Be all the way up here. Question is, do I enter NQ longs? NQ, I'm sorry, not NQ, ES longs, because the NQ swept a lower low. If this entire red candle invalidates, the thing that bothers me is ES didn't sweep. Like, it didn't sweep a lower low. But NQ did, and NQ's a falling wedge at the moment. I'm hoping NQ continues going down so that it would push ES, it'd sweep more and have higher odds. But right now, I'm kind of thinking about taking one more trade and a stab at ES longs. Multi-day VWAP. I just have my VWAP on out. I just have the basic standard VWAP. Well, what do you document? How do you do it? I have a journaling lesson. It's in the lesson vids channel in my Discord. But I'm documenting my trades, my thoughts, my psych, rating each setup, documenting the results, documenting everything. You need to collect data when you're trading. Wow, ES is so strong. I do fear that if I do enter ES longs, it's going to magically become weak and hornswoggle me again because I already got scammed. But yeah, we'll see. Also, I don't have enough documentation on reversal trades if it's better to trail my stop loss once it gets to the 23.6 or what. That's why I just put it at break even. I don't have enough documentation for that. I'm liking ES longs. I really am. This would be, if I were trading options, this would be a half size SPX entry here. I'd save money to average down. Thing is though, I can't really average down. It did retain the 23.6 fib. Now I'm thinking about entering here, and I mean this would have to be my stop loss, so P2 would be something up here, something like this. Just kind of depends. I mean, it works. This is a nice trade setup. It's not like super high probability because NQ didn't sweep this low here. I wanted it to. And the risk with this setup is, if it stops out, I'm going to want to enter NQ short as well. And that could expose me to multiple losses in a row. But that's a nice falling wedge. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I just kind of believe that NQ is going to flip stronger, and this trade would actually be a better one. But I'm still liking ES more. I just use TradingView for backtesting and my journal. It looks like NQ is going to go for that low. Now, I do have another potential reversal trade coming up. Crazy risk to reward, so it's not going to have the greatest odds, but it is setting up to be a potential reversal trade to the upside. We'll see how NQ reacts with this minor pivot here. Did NQ flip strong? Maybe just on this candle. I mean, it makes sense that ES would catch up to it. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it just perfectly swept my break-even stop loss. But depending on how the data goes, because I'm still backtesting stuff for these reversal trades, um, it's possible that break even stop loss may not be the move. It just kind of depends. Depends on entry as well. So really, the only thing I could have changed is not do a break even stop loss. Now I'm in this trade, but I'm gonna have to see what the results are, because if NQ sweeps this and goes back up, and ES ends up going back up, break even stop loss saved me. Is that a perfect double bottom on NQ or MNQ? I don't know what it is on NQ. Assume it's gonna sweep though. Oops. NQ missed it by much more than MNQ did. Are you holding? Paul, I was never in a SPY swing. You got the wrong guy. That's the wrong analyst. Well, I was planning on taking the reversal trade. I can't anymore because NQ didn't sweep. But this is a very bullish candle. Like, I would love to enter longs here. Like, I would. But NQ didn't sweep. It missed it. But it did perfectly bounce off the bottom trend line. But it not sweeping is enough conflicting analysis for me to not pull the trigger. So, back to waiting. No, you're good, Paul. Yeah, I don't, yeah, wrong guy. Now it looks ready. And there we go. And it looks like the break even stop loss is going to end up screwing me over, but we'll see. Because that's a big level on ES now, too. That's 60.38. My PT for that last trade was right here. It was at 37.25. It was at 37.25. With ES missing this, I don't think I want to enter a reversal trade all the way down here. You could if you really wanted to. If this candle ended up closing green because I had a bearish candle open, I think I'd rather take longs up here. That's looking like a potential reversal entry right there. Expect this candle to be green. But you know what? Because ES missed that level, and it still kind of seems stronger than NQ. Honestly, I'll just enter longs if it comes back up. It's going to be fairly risky because ES missed pivots. NQ didn't, though. But that doesn't have me confident enough to just enter NQ instead because NQ's been weaker. And the PTs are pretty much the same distance away. And if ES actually does end up being stronger than NQ, and if ES is all the way up here at that time and NQ's down here, then I just sell once NQ gets this high. Well, let's see. It looks like it's trying to go for more. Your stop loss typically 20%? No, it is not. It's never 20%. I stop based on. I stop out when my initial hypothesis is invalidated, wherever on the chart that may be. And if I'm trading options, it's rare on futures, but if I'm trading options and my stop loss is too far away, or I think there's too good of a chance it pulls back after I enter, but it's just good enough for me to enter now, then I'll enter half size and average down or up accordingly. Yeah, it's looking like NQ is going to flip stronger than ES. I mean, NQ longs down here, that's an early entry, but I'm not opposed. What do you guys think? Type in chat. You guys think this falling wedge is going to play out? And if so, do you think it's going to run hard or do you think it's just going to kind of bounce for a head and shoulders and go down? I can see both. Like zooming out on this chart, I can really see both. I don't know. I think it's more bullish, but that would be great, Chimkin. That would be great. It's not the case right now, unfortunately. All right, there's ES sweeping. And it looks like it's going to get to the PT that I had for it, which was here. I can actually go back on this chart and see it. No, I'm not going to do that, actually. It's way too far back. And if that's the case, my break even will get 2x's in my journal, which is really good stats right there. It did get it. Unfortunate. See, if ES didn't flip incredibly strong here, like that's just unlucky. There's nothing. That's just like the most unlucky shit ever. Good stats though. And that is a bearish break to the downside. I don't really have anything for that. I do have this good PT all the way down here on ES, but that is way too far away. Kind of looks like the market's just going to compress more on NQ. Like, I think the 61.8 reversal trade would be nice on NQ. Like, I think it's going to reverse somewhere within here. Somewhere within the golden fid pocket right here. I think it's going to reverse back to the upside. I'm willing to take a gamble on it. Good hypotheses today, though. I mean, that played out. I mean, that reversal trade was gorgeous. It just sucks that it... Unlucky that it perfectly swept my stop. Or that's a reversal candle right there. I could enter on that candle. I took a tiny entry. I'll give it a shot. That reversal candle's a little bit too nice for me to not give it a small shot, so... We'll see. I have very tight stop loss, only risking a very small amount of gains. Oh yeah, that's a miniature stop loss. This would be the smallest loss I've had in... I don't know. So I knew the next candle's very likely to be green, but I don't know how this candle's going to close. So if this candle closes with a huge selling wick, I think the trade's going to be over. The thing is, though, for me, NQ, it really sucks that I got stopped out on that stupid short trade because it got perfectly to the 38.2, which is such a strong support for the uptrend. It's a great place to retest. Like that PT I had was gorgeous. The only flaw was moving my stop to break even, which I didn't have the stats telling me to not do it. So there's not much I can do about that. But we'll see if I can hold a bounce. Looks like shorts are already trying to step in. If this red candle invalidates, that's going to be indicative of a short squeeze. If not, though, we may fall all the way back down. I don't know. We could do it. This? I don't have a PT up. I have no idea where I want to put my PT. Nope, the candle ended up closing red. So still a lot of shorts trying to press in. I don't know if they're going to be able to get squeezed out. It's not really looking like it. It's looking like shorts may win this battle. Looks like NQ is still weak. They're about the same. All right, well, this is going to stop out. You know, I'm still thinking it's going to reverse off the 61.8. That's kind of my next PT for it to reverse off of. That was a really nice reversal attempt, though. Very, very good reversal attempt there. I don't think... Probably not going to try again. Probably just going to lock in a small green day. But I'll have to see. Because the market, it's looking like the market's going to compress. I'm not bearish for it to get back down to low of day. And all these bearish candlestick opens, there's a lot of short suppressing this. This is pretty bearish. I'm not even going to get my hopes up, but if this drop did invalidate, holy shit, that's bullish. Because you guys saw, like, those candles kept opening super bearish. Lots of shorts pressing in. If they invalidate, it may be squeeze time. And it's looking like it has a small chance of that. Depends on how this candle closes. This candle gives back its entire green body, then I think the bears may win the battle. What I was thinking, guys, do I dare do another break-even stop loss? What I was thinking, if it gets to here, I put my stop loss at break-even. I think that's a good place for it. And then as far as my grand PT, this trade has too much potential. I don't know. I could go to the 61.8. If it bounced off the 61.8, I would go to the 61.8, but it didn't. It bounced off the 50% fib. So 61.8, eh. That would be a good next PT, wouldn't it? So, as I said, those red candles surprisingly invalidated. So, um, that's pretty bullish. Move my stop up just a little bit. Doesn't hurt the odds of the trade at all. And if it breaks this high here, I'm going to break even. NQ stronger than ES, which was the hope. NQ fell so much more than ES and swept so much more. It's looking like my stop loss may go to break even again. Nice, Stonky. Nice. Well, both reversal trades we took at least did move the right direction at the start, but shorts are still trying to fight this thing. If these red candles keep invalidating, this thing has so much potential. I just don't know if there's enough buyers here to do it. I think there is. If this red candle invalidates, that's looking scrumptious for a run. But both reversal trades, I mean, caught the top, I caught the bottom. You know, I'm going to move my stop loss at break even here. If it stops both at break even, that's great stats. That's easy to never do again. You know? So I can't really see a scenario where I lose. Because this looks like it's going to get to the high. Knock on wood, of course. But is ES like trying to bearishly consolidate on this pivot? I don't know. Okay, stop loss to break even. Now what? I didn't think this far ahead. See, this is Guru's expertise right here. I haven't practiced trailing my stop to know the optimal distance for it, so I don't even do it. But what I'm thinking is that's a bull flag on N. I mean, here's the thing: my PT's too far away. That's a bull flag on ES. My PT on ES is new high of day. Really, the first major PT I have is here. That's a really curved line, but here. That's far away, man. I don't know. Whatever, it's a free trade. We'll see what happens. I know that I move my stop loss to break even because this is a good resistance area. This is a resistance area where I can see it reversing, putting it head and shoulders, and continuing down to make a lower low. Document this. Did I move that? 10:08. I moved it to break even. That was a much better reversal trade, though. The only thing it was missing is it wasn't on a major pivot or major fib or in demand. But as far as the candles are concerned, the chopping down, the reversal candle itself with a huge buying wick, nice body, and huge volume, all that signaled reversal. Plus had a nice trend line to break to the upside. And wait, and ES was on a major fib, the 38.2. That reversal trade gets a 3.5 out of 5 TA. But yeah, I don't really know. This is my next PT that I was thinking. You could sell here if you want to, but I don't know. It just kind of has too much potential, you know? And it kind of looks like NQ's trying to flip weak again, which I don't like. I don't know. I'll draw this to the 61.8, and then depending on how it gets there, I will make a decision. I don't know. See, now ES is stronger. That's a nice bull flag on ES. That is a very nice bull flag on ES. A little too steep, but it was a nice pullback to a nice level, and it held that level nicely. Like, hit it, reversed off of it beautifully. Like, this is a trend extension setup right here. But my nearest pivot is forever away, and my indicators got smoked. There we go. I guess I'll just hang out and see. I don't know. Could really sell at any point. The bull flag, it's too steep for me to be bullish for high of day. It's possible. It is a nice flag, but the nearest pivot's too far away. You know, I'm not confident it gets there. So I'm just going to leave it at break even, see what happens, and that's that. And I'll just collect the data. So if there's a more optimal way of doing it, if I catch a reversal trade and it goes a certain distance, then I'll do it. But that is a very bearish candle on NQ. I did just call out that it was flipping weaker, and it did, in fact, flip a lot weaker. Just hanging out. I'm just hanging out now. I see a potential inverse head and shoulders on NQ. So that's what I'm watching for. Again, I don't know where to the nearest the ESPT was a nice PT. I'm sad about that trade. Like that trade, like it was a nice PT. You see how nice that PT was. Um, and that's the PT that I played earlier for or yesterday for a reversal trade. That was really nice as well. Hit beautifully. 38.2 is a solid PT. But yeah, we'll have to see. I don't have a nice PT like that on this trade. That's the issue. I have the 61.8 above, but by the time it gets to the 61.8, I'm like, well, that's a bull flag break on ES, so I'm probably just gonna hold for ES new high of day. And if it gets there, it gets there. If not, it doesn't. But that's, I mean, that's a bull flag break. How can I sell right now? You know what I mean? Like people are entering right now, and retail entering is scary. I know retail traders are entering right now, which means statistically, they're gonna stop out. But I can't sell right now. That wasn't much of an inverse head and shoulders, but it kind of played out anyways. I'm already thinking it. I wasn't going to say it, but I'm already thinking it, so I'm going to say it. Knocking on wood. I feel like anytime I say something like this, it ends up just dumping to my stop loss. But I do really want this trade to work out. It would be really cool if it did. And the reason why is because if I won that last ES trade, I would not have taken this trade. No way in hell I would have taken this trade. Not that this trade was a bad trade or anything or bad psych, but I would have just locked in my gains and left. It's 10 o'clock, you know? Um, so if this trade ends up working out, my results on the day would be the same if I didn't stop at break even on ES. So it would be back to like the P&L high of day, which is a nice feeling to walk away with, even though it's somewhat monetary, which is somewhat sinful. That'd be neat. Yeah, you could sell at the 61.8. This is a nice spot for it to pull back to, because now I'm seeing an ES inverse head and shoulders. Right, it baited all the retail in, time to dump them. But you know, look at the volume though. Look at how small the green volume is here. I don't know if that's a bad thing or good. You don't want a volume spike on a breakout, right? You don't want that unless it's proportional with the candle. I feel like that's proportional with the candle. So pretty much did just touch the 61.8. Actually missed it. But this is a good area for a pullback. Inverse head and shoulders on ES, cup and handle on NQ. We'll see if it does. If so, how much. Guys, I think I'm just going to probably write it out to new high of day on ES. If it gets there, it gets there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't have the data to really do anything different. So haven't taken enough reversal trades over the last couple months with you guys to have the data for this. Yeah, and you could trail your stop. I mean, moving your stop loss up is fine. Honestly, yeah, I can move my stop loss up a little bit and it'll hurt the probability of this trade 0. Boom, there you go. If it comes all the way down there, it's going to hit my stop loss 99.99% anyways. So that is a proper 61.8 test right there. And it rejected it. So cue the bullish consolidation if it does put it in. Looks like a nice PT already if some of you took that. Type in chat, did some of you guys use that as a PT? Because that's really the only solid PT I have based on the NQ chart. Everything else is too far or just too unreasonable. Took it to the 61.8. Nice. That's a nice sell. And it looks like it flipped weaker than ES at that level. Let's see, what did ES do? ES looks like it's breaking over the 61.8. That's a really nice PT. Glad I called it out. I'm just going to hang out on my phone for now. NQ's back to being super weak, unfortunately. And an ES pullback also isn't unreasonable, so it's possible that NQ falls hard here. Which is nice for you 61.8 people because if it invalidates this drop, it could be a really nice re-entry. So you took in profits and you get to re-enter. I mean, that's a really nice position to be in if you choose to. But for a re-entry, I'm seeing a possible inverse head and shoulders on NQ. Let me delete this trend line. Like I'm seeing this right here. So, you know, if you re-enter here, take it to this high, I think that's another very sound trade. I'm not confident NQ gets that high, though. I don't really know. This candle was a nice candle. It looks like it's closing with a selling wick. But this is just more shorts getting invalidated, feeling more of a short squeeze. If it's hard to expect this, but if NQ can invalidate this selling wick, I'm going to start leaning for this high on NQ because that's impressive. You know, short step in there, and if for it to keep invalidating that, shorts are going to need to keep stopping out. You know, 2 great reversal trades in a row, though. Like, come on, that's fantastic. Like, we are on point with our TA today. I don't think we were really wrong once. I guess the only technical wrong thing was me moving my stop loss to break even on that short trade, but I wouldn't say that's wrong. It's fine. It's just unlucky. Because ES at 945, where it hit my stop loss, NQ was right here at 945. Like, that is so unlucky that it flipped that weak. Or flipped that strong. Took an entry there. That's not a bad entry. No, it's not bad. I mean, that's a right candle. I can assume that the next candle is going to be green. Here's the problem, though. This is a major level on ES. Like, this is the first major ES resistance that we've had. Good chance ES sees some resistance here, whether that catalyzes a reversal, a pullback. Because keep in mind, this chart still looks like a potential inverse head and shoulders. Don't really know where to go. I guess to here. I don't know. I mean, no matter what, it's locking in a green day. So I cannot. Two fantastic reversal trades have such low odds of working out. Two fantastic reversal trades in a row where we called the top and we called the bottom, regardless of what could happen. Like, that is awesome. This is a great session. Congrats to the 20 YouTube soldiers and the 40 Discord soldiers that are still in here. Great TA. And even if you're not trading, it's just great TA to watch. There's no way in hell ES doesn't pull back before high of day, in my mind. No way in hell. So I'm very tempted to take profits because I know that ES statistically is so likely to pull back. And the reason why is because his flag was too steep. The distance in between this trend line and high of day pivot's too big. Otherwise, it would go right through it. I'm thinking it does something like this, maybe like this. And that'll be tempting for a re-entry, but regardless, this is my last trade. So I think I'm just going to sit it out, and I'm bullish to high of day. I'll just wait until high of day. But this is the next. This is a great PT on NQ here. Don't get too attached, Nemo. This thing could just plummet right now. Knock on wood. It looks like NQ's recovering some strength. Technically, I'm bullish for this NQ high now. I ain't holding that far. I'm selling if ES gets new high of day. I don't care. We got a new untested supply zone right here. Remember, I said I really think ES needs to pull back before high of day, so I'm bracing for that right now. How hard is it going to be? Here's the next NQPT. It's nearly there. What was that, 622? If it barely misses that, I'm going to be happy because I know a pullback is pretty likely to continue if it barely missed this level before doing so. But that is a 78.6 fib, so knock on wood that doesn't play out. Because if that plays out, this trade's stopping out. On a candle like this, Kazumu? Yeah, you can. Because if I average up right now, my average is going to move to like up here. Yeah, it's going to move to like up there. The problem is I expect to pull back now. I don't do the averaging up thing. I just don't. It's just not me. It's just not me. If the data really supports it, it's something I'm open to doing, you know? But I haven't found a need to practice that yet. And realistically, if you have perfect psych, you're probably going to end up with the same P&L as someone who averages up. Because someone who averages up and keeps their stop loss at break even gets swept more often. Their wins are a lot bigger, but they get swept more often. It's probably going to be a very, if I'm trading the same size, we're probably going to have the same P&L. If he averages up and I never do, it's probably going to be the same, you know, because he's going to get trailed out of trades more than I am because his average is moving up, but his wins are going to be bigger to make up for it, you know. There's no pros without cons. That is true, Stonky. You know that's a fairly good point. My thing is though, my trades are usually not big enough to I haven't noticed it a ton. My trades usually aren't big enough for that. Like my position size and whatnot, it's usually not big enough to for that to have a huge effect. Because I'm only trading 5 micros on NQ. goes up to my PT. And that's why I hear a lot too. A lot of people that trail their stop loss, I feel like they complain about it more than people that don't. Um, the thing I have against trailing is, again, statistically, you're gonna lock in more gains. You're just gonna get sweat more too. You know, there's no pros without cons, but for me, it just comes down to, okay, well, if I enter a trade and I have a hard PT and a hard stop loss, which one is easier to sit through? Which one do I have to think less? And the less you think, the less psych deterioration you endure. It's the person that's not trailing their stop loss because they just sit there and wait for one of their orders to hit, you know? Whereas someone that trails their stop loss, if they aren't like, a psych warrior, they're always thinking during their trade. Every single candle, they're making decisions. And it's just more wear and tear on your psych. All right, there's your PT if that was your PT on NQ. It didn't pull back enough. So both PTs, the 61.8 PT and that PT are seeing a nice rejection on NQ. So both those PTs were great if you took them. Looks like NQ flipped back to being, it's about the same as ES, but this red candle is a lot bigger because it experienced that resistance. ES didn't pull back enough. I was expecting, this is a pennant. It'd be cool if it breaks the upside, but I was expecting something like this. Like something like this. At the minimum. What do you think about trimming contracts? Yeah, I have no problem with trimming contracts. On futures, that's just too much work for me, On options, I need to trim because theta decay destroys my 0-day contracts, right? I have no choice. Sure, of course, there's plenty of times where I trim and it continues going. Most of the time it does, right? But if I don't trim and it comes down, it's not like futures where I know how much I'm going to lose. During the entire uptrend, my contracts, Greeks, were dropping the intrinsic value of those contracts, or just the value of those contracts. And when it comes back down, I'm fried. So with options, it's a bit different. I have to. Futures, it's like you can, yeah, sure. But I feel like futures is better to average up because there's no decay and it's easy to move your stop loss up. Options, I can't move my stop loss up. Like I just have to, all right, I'm moving my stop loss up in a sense of instead of stopping out like here, now I'm going to stop out if it comes right here. But futures trimming, it's honestly just too much work for me. You can trim. There's nothing wrong with it statistically. But again, it's just a lot of decision making. It's more wear and tear on your psych for maybe the same results overall. That's a reversal candle on NQ and ES. Let's see how much that pulls back. Um, so it's like, it's way too much work. Wow. No shot at just putting that buying wick. That is impressive. That almost looks like it doesn't even want to pull back before it gets new high of day on ES. And that is so impressive. Like, guys, the way this is moving, I'm starting to think NQ could somehow end up all the way up here. I'm tempted to just put my PT at NQ, this major high right here, and just do it, but that's still too far for me. I'm too much of a wimp for that. I'm selling when ES gets there. Maybe I'll move up my stop loss just a little bit more. There you go. It's a bullish engulfing on ES. Still didn't pull back like I thought it was going to, though. So I'm still kind of waiting, bracing for a pullback. It looks like NQ's ready to pull back. NQ wants to. Every other candle's red now. Or at least tries to be red during some part of the candle. It's running on fumes. Wow, NQ slipping stronger than ES. It's still squeezing out shorts. ES, I'm still expecting a pullback though. Still expecting it, unfortunately. That's another reversal candle on NQ. Shorts are piling in here. Every time one of these red candles invalidates, I get more and more surprised. And just by this candle opening green increases the likelihood so much that a pullback is going to be a temporary pullback. Because every single dip is being bought. Like every single reversal candle is followed by buying. Makes sense why, that's fairly bullish. No, not really, Scope. Yeah, I mean, no, not really. Because I'm not seeing, so I see this, like this is nice, but like to draw this one, it's like, I can see it. It's just chopping up. That's why I'm kind of expecting a pullback as well. It's probably it could act the same as a rising wedge, but as far as a technical term, not really. Looks like NQ's finally starting to flip weak. There's just so many sell orders here, so many bears in. It is so ready for a big pullback, but starting to look like I may be able to exit before it happens, which I'd love to do because I don't want to sit through it. Cannot believe these red candles keep invalidating. Like I'm bullish to the NQ high. I just don't want to hold that long. It's chopping way too much. Okay, this candle was bearish. I'd be very surprised if this one invalidates because it went from red, it invalidated back to green, and then went back to red. And then as I'm talking, it went green again. Now chopping up is bearish, but as you guys know, the longer it chops up, the more bullish it becomes. If we don't break to the downside within the next 5 minutes, this chopping up is going to become bullish. I get a bit that's what I'm thinking, but I don't want to be hopeful. I've been safety squinting for a pullback over the last 10 minutes straight. Like I know it's so likely to happen, but I really don't want it to happen. Right, Kazman. Here's a problem. Okay. If it pulls back and invalidates, if I was still trading at this time and looking to get into trades, that would be a long entry for this high. So it's going to be difficult for me to sell before this high on NQ, but I'm still committed to dumping the second ES gets new high of day. I don't care. But NQ should sweep these lows, the low of these buying wicks. This is kind of the minimum that I'd expect it to sweep. And we'll see how it reacts with that. Worst case scenario, it looks like it's getting weaker than ES, which just means less profits for me. NQ won't be as high when ES hits new high of day, but I'll delete this fib. It doesn't really help anymore. All right, this is the area I'm looking for NQ to sweep. Is there anything happening today that's warranting this amount of strength? Like, is there news or something I'm not aware of? Friday. No, nothing. All right. Kazumu, if you sold at 622 on NQ, I think it's a check mark anyways. It's not a double check mark, but it's a check mark because it saved you time and it did pull back after, you know. If it's a double check mark if it like reverses pretty hard. But there's that level I wanted on NQ. See how it reacts with that. Looks like we're finally getting our first stop loss raid. That's a way bigger candle than I was expecting. It looked like it was gearing for something. That's why I checked if there was news and there was nothing. That's pretty bearish. We may see all my hard work go away. And that's a pretty bearish close on ES and a bearish candle open. Looks good to drop a lot more. Damn, barely missed high. That's why I was so stressed out during it because I'm like, I know it. I know it's coming, but I really don't want to do. All right, well, back to hanging out on my phone. It's gonna be a while before I sell now, unfortunately. Oh my lord, that is the most bullish thing ever. I cannot believe that that just invalidated like that. I think we're gonna blow right through this NQ high. I look up from my phone, I'm like, oh shit, it's already all the way back up. So if I wasn't in this trade, I would be entering NQ long. I would be cautious of it though, because I want multiple oscillations, so I hope it pulls back again. But that's a hard trade for me to sit out on right here on that candle. You know, entering pretty much at this blue line right here. That's a hard trade for me to sit out on. I'm probably still just gonna sell when ES gets a new high of day though, honestly. It's almost there. It just perfectly touched it. That was the plan initially. You know, maybe I'm sitting out on more gains, but and Kazumi, that's definitely a check mark in your journal if you sold at 622. That's a great sell because it did get a nice pullback afterwards. Where do you put your stop loss? That's a great question. So the problem is that candle was so dang big that, and I guess my PT's so dang big too. What the hell? I hate that my TradingView's been doing that lately. It'd have to be this green. It'd have to be like here. Like once that green candle's the reason I'm in, I have to get out if that candle goes away, which is a problem because I'd want multiple oscillations because it would make me more comfortable with my stop loss. This is why. This is why right here I want multiple oscillations. That's why it's a hard trade for me to avoid, but I'm not really happy about taking it. And that is a way bigger red candle than I expected. So now I don't know. It was looking very bullish. NQ is so much weaker than ES. Good lord. I'm thinking ES is going to get high of day and NQ is only going to be like right here. Why are we so weak? What are we doing? And also the problem, and another reason why I want multiple oscillations is because this was a major pivot as well. And it happened kind of on this pivot, so. Oh, now NQ is so much stronger. What the hell? And I'm getting a phone call. I'll be right back. I meant ES is way strong. NQ is very weak. But now if this goes back up, I'm probably not going to sell. I'm probably going to wait for the NQ high because now that's too good of a flag to sell, you know? Or I'd at least wait for this high here. Like this is going to be my PT now. Back to where it was. If it gets there, you know, something crazy could happen. I don't like that ES is it's really chopping up and these rejections are very large. And NQ is super weak, so it's like I'm not liking it anymore. So I'm hanging out on my phone until something cool happens again. It's looking bearish on NQ. It's still a lot weaker. It looks like it wants to take out the low of that buying wick. ES doesn't look like it wants to do it, but it can allow it. ES looks like it wants high of day. NQ looks like it's like sick of going up. It kind of just wants to take a nap, roll over. So I'm just continuing to hang out on my phone until something cool happens. Should I look up from my phone now? Well, it got interesting because NQ is a lot stronger than ES. I'm not selling unless ES gets high of day. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Even though I want to sell where my PT is on NQ, it's ES has a perfect double top at high of day. I'll sell when that breaks. But that would be the second oscillation entry there. And really, I'd have to go for NQ high of day. I mean, this high. I keep calling it high of day, but this high. The problem is ES gets high of day way before that. So it's like if ES sweeps high of day, you're done for. I guess we'll see. Not a huge fan of these higher buying wicks here. You see all these, we got one lower low buying wick, but since then it's just kind of higher. That's kind of an issue as well. Hurts the odds of the trade just a little bit. Took long at 26.22. So you just entered scope. I think it's a fine trade. The problem is ES going to continue through high of day and allow NQ to go up, or is it going to sweep? That's the question. But it's a well put together trade. I like that trade. And obviously my perspective is altered because I've been sitting in this trade forever. So now it's hard for me to look at an entry now and be like, oh, yep, I would do that because I've been in this trade. It seems so late. But realistically, if I wasn't in a trade and I was looking to trade, I'd probably take that same entry scope, that exact same one. In fact, I'd have to take that entry, actually. I'm triggered in, so. You like how you guys like how I called the pullback though? I was so ready for that pullback to come. I was really hoping it wouldn't because I didn't want to have to sit through it. But let's see if the pullback does what I need it to do. This is great TA today, guys. Like this is a recording I'll save and watch the live recording on YouTube. This is one that I'll push out to you guys that you guys can watch on your own time for the people that aren't in here because they missed out on a lot of really good TA. I mean, just knowing that pullback was coming, not knowing, but expecting it was great. Great analysis as well. The reversals we caught, fantastic. It sucks that last one didn't play out, but it looks like this one may. Or it's been on track to play out. And if that last one plays out, I wouldn't have got this one. So regardless, I still end the day, maybe, if NQ continues going up, I could end the day at high of day P&L, and I got extra data with that break-even stop loss I got perfectly swept on ES. I missed the high on NQ just barely. It looks like NQ is going to break it before ES goes, so that's interesting. It's going to be hard for me to sell without ES getting new high of day with that perfect double top. But I've seen perfect double tops last a while, and the way this is kind of going up looks like it could last, and that's spooky to me. I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm gonna hold for it though because you know the width of this cup and handle on NQ puts the breakout potential there. I'm just gonna let it go. Prayers will be greatly appreciated. ES is not getting up. It's weird that I care so much about ES, but I do. It's not good. Now, if ES can pull back and invalidate that, ooh, that'll look really nice like this. This is what I want. It looked goofy before. Boom, boom, boom. That looks goofy. For a sustained move to the upside. Doesn't look right. Put your sell at 628 swing with you. Ah, you got it. Congrats on the green trade scope. It's smaller. It's too small of a trade. I can't take that trade. That's a pretty small scalp. But you were still able to do a 1-to-1 risk to reward, and it was pretty damn high probability. That was a good trade. So that was a sell I wanted. It's too hard for me to sell below ES high of day, so maybe I'll regret it greatly. It is looking like every single PT I've called out has reversed afterwards, or at least temporarily pulled back. Because the first one was here, beautiful, reverse back down. Next one was here, beautiful, reverse back down. Next one was here, beautiful. I don't know if I'm gonna keep getting lucky, guys. One of these reversals is gonna be permanent. Knock on wood. And NQ keeps flipping freaking weak after every single pullback. Look how weak it is now. It just lost its strength. Well, back to hanging out on my phone. Right when I thought about eating breakfast, like just taking my phone, because I expected that pullback to last a lot longer, I'm stuck having to look at this stupid chart again. But ES didn't hold that reversal candle. Looks like I may go back on my phone. It had a lot of potential to go right up through high of day after that candle. We'll see how this one closes, but that looks like ES didn't sweep enough. Needs to go down more. Now this is a rising wedge though. It's a big concern of mine. That is a nice and clear rising wedge on ES. You know, in the second I look back up at my chart, it dumps again. What the hell is going on here? I'll chart out this rising wedge. I don't even though I don't want to, because I feel like it makes it happen when I chart it out, but that's placebo. Here's the rising wedge, and that is a rising wedge play out. Unfortunate. All right, well, I'm going to take my phone with me. I'll be back. I'm going to eat cereal. If this thing dumps all the way down, that is horrendously unlucky. That will be a great journal entry, though, because I said I was planning on selling here, but I didn't have the balls to with this NQ high still intact. So I will, wait a minute. Am I never going to be able to leave my... The second I start to leave, it goes back up and I need to watch it again. Maybe that's a sign that it needs to hit when I'm not watching. I don't want to watch. I don't want it to make another higher high than reverse, but damn it, we have another bull flag on ES. I'm not that bullish for this bull flag to play out, though, on ES. Like, it made lower lows. I'm bullish for high of day, but I don't think it's actually going to... I don't even know. Like, I don't know if it really wants high of day yet. It's a perfect double top. I'm bullish for it to get high of day at some point. It is set up to do it. Okay, if we could get back up to here, that would look great for new high of day. But below that point, I'm like, it may want to save it for later. Because think about it. How often do I trade where there's a perfect double top or double bottom that was already there before I started trading? It happens fairly frequently, right? And that would never happen if perfect double tops always broke shortly after they were formed, right? And that's what I'm concerned about because maybe this is one that doesn't break shortly after it's formed and I'm just, goes all the way back down. Knock on wood. But I'm very hungry. I want to leave. It's 11 o'clock. I've been in here forever. And now it's plummeting again. All right, I'm going to take my phone with me and leave. I'm just going to sprint back if something happens, but I'm going to whip up a bowl of cereal real quick. So I'll be back in like 3 minutes. And the second I say it, it gets a massive buying wick. You cannot make this up. I don't care. I'm leaving anyways. I don't care. I'll be back. I'm back, and it looks like I missed my sell on NQ. That's awesome. I'm gonna be eating though, so my mic's gonna be muted. That would have been a good sell there on NQ. Would I have done it though? Well, now I ain't gonna do it because now we have a perfect trend line on ES. It's just holding me in here captive, just bullying my time. Well, looks like it's going to want to, if it does go up, it's going to get to NQ's high before ES gets to high of day. Honestly, I'm selling. I'm putting my sell order there. I don't care. Actually, see the 38, 38, and go one tick above that. Still bullish for ES new high of day, but and that's going to put NQ higher than this high, but I don't care. There we go. Back to eating. Keep in mind, NQ is a lot stronger than ES, and ES chart is bullish. I'm thinking NQ can be all the way up here. I really am. I don't have time to do that. I'm not willing to sit through that, especially if it retraces again, which it probably will. Time has become a factor here. I've been in here way too long. Hang on, Joe. You're about to experience greatness. There it is. You got here just in time. Dude. There's no way you just showed up and I just got a freaking boner candle. Buddy, I appreciate that. You know how long I sat in that trade for? Look at the trade. And Joey, check this reversal trade out. I entered a reversal trade here on ES. Are you looking at my screen? Here was stop loss. My PT was the 38.2 fib, which was here. Look how beautiful it was, right? Here's the kicker. I moved my stop loss to break even after it got to the 23.6. Seemed like a great idea. And it perfectly swept my stop loss, got right to my PT. But because that happened, I was willing to hop in this reversal trade here. And yeah, so we caught the top and the bottom. Just I got perfectly swept on the first one. But it's okay, because you know what? If I made money on that first one, I wouldn't have got this one. All right, y'all. Well, now I'm gonna wait and see if ES, because I could, like I said, I could extend my PT more on NQ. Wait for ES new hive day. I don't want to do that. I honestly just want to be out of the trade. I'm gonna hang out and eat my cereal and wait for ES to break high day. I want to see if it does. All right, I've inhaled all my cereal. Oh man. Now I'm gonna document that NQ trade. Man, you know what? We didn't have a single red trade today. Not a single hypothesis that I called out invalidated. Even though a majority of this run invalidated here, which normally I'm bearish for low of day, I even said I expected to bounce. We didn't have one incorrect hypothesis. It kills me that this trade stopped out at break even. There's nothing I can do about that. There's no way to know that's going to happen. It would have been glorious if we caught both of these. It wouldn't have happened though. If I caught this trade, I would have been done after, and it would have just been 2 green trades. Yeah, I would have left. But yeah, this is as far as a TA, we caught the bottom and top twice. Phenomenal TA, phenomenal Fibonacci work as far as PTs went, and everything else. Pullback, expecting a pullback here. Just gorgeous. And now it looks like ES is finally going to break, which means if I held for the ESPT, I would have made a decent amount more. But I don't care. I wanted the peace of mind of not being in that stupid trade anymore. Let me just document this. That was an hour and 4-minute trade. We set a record today. The longest trade I have stayed in while live by far. Maybe not quite by far, but actually we had another hour-long trade that ended up playing out. But it was half the size of this one. It was like not a very big trade. It was a choppy day. But this is pretty much the longest trade we've sat through. And on top of that, the craziest risk to award. My stop loss was here. So we hit pretty much a 6.0 risk to award on this trade, which is very unlike me. I don't do that because you lose too much and that hurts my psyche. Witnessed history. So congrats to all you guys who sat through this. Type in chat. For the few people that are in here, you guys green or red from the session? Make on that trade. Jeez. Big green day. Everyone type in chat. Guru, I don't know what you missed, but reversals, dude. You're in lessons like, you know what? I should really start taking reversal trades more because I'm good at them. So here are the reversal trades that I called out. Except this one, I moved my stop up to break even and it freaking swept my ass. But it was glorious, dude. It was glorious. I just don't add to them. That's too much work. And that still gets an X. Did I not say, though? Hang on, let me go way back in time. I drew on my chart where NQ should go. Yep, here it is. Boom. This is where I expected NQ to go, and we're pretty much there. It's almost like we know how to read a chart. Oh, man. Anyways, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. You guys know my last live session on Wednesday started a brand new, it was on a brand new PA account. 0-4, down $1,000. Well, most people, right at the start, down half my drawdown, first day. I'm like, well, good thing I stopped trading when the was up because I was due. But now this account, not only did I recover that loss, but now the account trading half size, by the way, during like the worst time of day to trade, it's up 1,600. It's at 51.6. So I made 2,600 back in the last 2 days. And that's really only possible if you have good psych, right? Most people won't have good psych and they'll try to BS their way back. And yeah, so doesn't mean this account could go right back down right after. But just making a point, usually if my PAs weren't green on like the first day, they'd blow up. And I know in the previous mentorship meetings last year, a lot of people struggle with that. They do good on accounts that start off green, and they're good at keeping them green. But once they dip into the red, they psychologically can't bring them back, and they just blow up. You just got to not care. Well, like I said, I am bullish to, well, it already got to this area pretty much. I'm bullish to NQ to get to here. Not willing to hold longer, though. I mean, it did what I needed it to do, so. We'll do 2 quizzes. Yep. We were gonna do an extra one on Monday, but it didn't happen because Ashton was a Ashton had some issues. So we will. Yeah, we'll do sim and 2 quizzes, and instead of the back testing, I think I'm just gonna do the trade review today. Let me see what we have scheduled. Oh yeah, we didn't even have trade review scheduled for Fridays. Let's do the trade review instead of the back testing. It'll be better for learning, and I'll record it and stuff too. So we'll do the instead of the back testing. I'll push the back testing or that session back 30 minutes. So in an hour and 15 minutes, I'll do the trade review, and then we'll do the 2 quizzes. If you win, you get $50. Anyone can participate, but only premium members win or win money. And then we'll jump right into the trade sim. We'll do the 5 minute trade sim, so it's shorter, so I don't have to keep talking as long. But wow, NQ looks like it's going to get there. Like I said, it was bullish. I said, ES is putting in a bullish candlestick, a bullish pattern with the double top and lower lows, and NQ is so much stronger. That's why I highlighted this area. Like NQ is probably going to end up right there, but whatever. It was a great trade. Very happy with it. Spin the wheel. I'm also going to start recording my live sessions. All right. Throwing too flat. All right, you guys we're just throwing money around today. All right, well, maybe we'll do giveaways. Maybe we're just throwing money around because everyone's green, so we're just giving money to each other. That's fine. That's fun. Yeah, Aurora's turning into a strip club. Everyone's just throwing money at each other all the time, and spinning wheels and stuff. All right. I will see you guys later. Congrats if you guys are green. Actually, let me take that picture real quick. I don't want to take pictures. Too much work. Y'all that fill up the chat enough. Too much work. Let me just send out an announcement. This was almost a 3 hour session. Wow, NQ is just really getting there. That is crazy. It's hard to expect though. Like it's hard to expect that it's just gonna, do that. Especially when ES doesn't look very bullish, but I did not expect NQ to be that strong. That is crazy. But all right, well, I will see you people later. You guys have a blessed rest of your day. Good luck if you continue trading for some crazy reason. And I will see you guys in about an hour and 13 minutes for the trade review in the Discord. And then we'll do the quizzes, the trade sim, and we'll wrap up this week. So, congrats on the gains, guys. I'll see you guys later.